It came together in 1964, at a time when America was going through a myriad of changes. Some changes were cultural.
Does all that hair help you sing? Definitely, yeah.
Others, far more important, would cast shadows for a long time. It was in this setting, some 40 years ago, that the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame was born. Remember, this was a time when sports didn't hold the mainstream sway it holds today. College athletics were certainly popular, but primarily with alumni. Pro sports were light years from what we see today. Professionally, Colorado had minor league baseball and what many considered minor league football, the early days of the AFL. Still, it was in these times that the Denver Chamber of Commerce and the right people in the right places decided that it was time for this state to recognize a rich, growing sports history and culture. The first class, inducted in 1965, said a lot about the long overdue nature of this new hall. Jack Dempsey, Dutch Clark, and Whizzer White. Men who had established their athletic legends in the 20s and 30s. The Roaring 20s and the ensuing Depression were times made for these three. Tough and determined, they slugged and ran their way into the headlines. With this stellar first class, the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame not only was on its way, but it also had its mandate to try to live up to the standards set in 1965. In its first 10 years, the Hall welcomed many who had graced this state with their brilliance, skill, and accomplishment. Football and basketball stars from college and the pros. Olympic heroes as well. And perhaps the greatest female athlete ever.
She won 2 gold medals with astonishing performance. Golf was the favorite sport of the world's greatest woman athlete.
They all were called to the Hall between 1965 and 1974. Between 1975 and 1984, the likes of David Thompson and John Elway became part of the sporting fabric of Colorado. Those 10 years saw the face of Colorado sports change. The Broncos seemed to grow larger with their long-awaited success. The love affair between the fans and the team forever changed the way Colorado would watch sports. It was in these second 10 years that the Hall of Fame started to honor the Broncos prominently, from the man who kept the franchise afloat to some of the greatest players ever to wear the orange and blue.
Number 44 left unforgettable memories of a fabulously gifted athlete.
This decade also saw many college legends recognized. From those who called the shots to those who made those shots pay off. The third decade, and the installation of more heralded and deserving contributors to Colorado sports, including the induction of two of the most prolific scorers in the history of professional basketball. This group also brought in some of the most revered coaches and leaders in Colorado sports history.
Hey, wonder if they believe we're for real now. Huh? Well, I guarantee you we're for real.
For the Broncos, it was time to recognize some of the franchise's most memorable performers, the M&M connection. The leaders of the Orange Crush defense.
Play of the game. He's going to heave it as far as he can. Down deep in the Michigan territory. Juggled in the air. And it is called touchdown, Colorado.
Snap to Elway. The look. The throw. Touchdown. John Elway has just thrown the touchdown to Mark Jackson.
It was in the time from 1984 to 1995 that some of Colorado's most famous sports moments took place. CU's National College Football Championship, led by a man who would later take up residence in the hall.
Way off pitch, swung on a fly ball to left field and deep. That one's going way back, and kiss it goodbye!
And the baseball dream that few dared to imagine.
Eric Young, the first man to bat for the Colorado Rockies in Mile High Stadium, has brought this crowd to its feet.
Major League Baseball in the Rocky Mountains. These past 10 years have seen Colorado sports take off. New arenas for every major pro sports franchise. The return of the NHL.
Colorado has its first Major League title.
Super Bowl championships.
You got the world champions that live in your town.
This one's for John.
A heyday, the likes of which may never be repeated. This exponential growth was also reflected in those inducted into the Hall in the last decade. From characters whose personalities were as memorable as their accomplishments. To those whose character was as memorable as their abilities.
You want to tell me the 37-year-old man doesn't want to win this game?
Women who wowed the world with their Olympic accomplishments. And men whose size belied their toughness and talent.
Pat Day has won a lot of races in his career. This is as sweet as they come.
In the past 10 years, the Colorado Sports Hall of Fame has recognized those stars who were destined for greatness. As well as those who seem to come from nowhere. We cap 40 years, saluting not just those inducted in 2004, but all of those who helped build Colorado's athletic legacy.